Setting the scene. There is a boss, Jessie, and one of her employees, Sandy. Jessie is Sandy's boss. Jessie recently started a new finance company from the ground up. Jessie has been in the finance business for over 20 years but wanted to start her own company. Sandy is a finance major in college. She saw Jessie's posting for an administrative assistant online and sent Jessie her resume. Jessie loves Sandy based off the interview and hired Sandy on the spot. Jessie and Sandy have been working together for 3 months now. Sandy has put in countless hours of overtime and helped Jessie out on a lot of accounts. Jessie has noticed Sandy has made a few careless mistakes, but she has not brought any of them to Sandy's attention. Jessie is not getting the business she thought she would, so she has decided to call a meeting with Sandy and discuss the problem.
Hey, Sandy, can you come to my office for just a little second?
Hey, Jessie, what's up?
Hey, Sandy, I wanted to have a meeting with you just on how production is going.
Oh no, is there anything I can do to help?
Well, the numbers aren't where I want them to be at this point of the production. As a matter of fact, I've noticed you've been making a lot of careless mistakes.
Oh, well, I'm definitely willing.
Well, I'm talking. Don't interrupt me. But, as I was saying, I've noticed you've been making some careless mistakes. For instance, you've been labeling these documents differently than how I want them. And I also don't know why you've been getting here at 8 a.m. and only taking a 30-minute lunch. Also, I saw where you sent one email to a guy named Will 2 months ago. You spelled his name W-I-L when it's definitely 2 L's. Do you not have spell check turned on your computer or something?
Jessie, I'm so sorry. I had no idea you had any problems with me. I do not think you have voiced any concerns about me so far, have you?
I mean, no, but they're careless mistakes. I just thought you would pick up on them as time went along.
Jessie, I really am sorry, but I cannot learn from my mistakes if I do not even know I'm making them. As for the issues you rose, have you ever told me how you would like documents labeled?
Well, no.
I was not aware you wanted them to be labeled in a certain way. Going forward, I would be happy to label them how you have requested.
Yeah. Okay, well, what about getting to work early?
Have you ever told me what time to come in?
Mm-hmm. I've told you to be in by 9.
Well, I thought getting in early would impress you. I'm so sorry. I'll start coming in later.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the only thing you have ever told me is that it is Tennessee state law that I take a 30-minute lunch. You've never told me to take a longer lunch that I can recall.
Okay, but do you have your spell check turned on?
Jessie, I'm so sorry I misspelled someone's name 2 months ago. That was my mistake, and I will work hard to make sure it does not happen again. I am sorry.
I'm sure you are, but when I hired you, I wanted an assistant, someone to assist me.
Jessie, I feel like I've done the best possible job assisting you. I know I have not actually produced any business, but I was hired as an administrative assistant, not a producer.
Did I say anything about you not bringing in business? No. Why would you even bring that up?
Well, you told me this was going to be a production meeting. I thought we were here to talk about production.
Are you getting smart with me?
No, I promise, Jessie. I mean this with the most sincerity. I had no idea you had any problems with me at all. I thought everything was going really well between us.
You making all these errors is just making my job harder than it needs to be. When I hired somebody to assist me, I wanted them to take more problems off of me than add more. I'm sure you have been misspelling other clients' names and emails. That makes me look very bad.
Jessie, I'm so sorry. I have never had any of our clients complain about me. I really feel like all of our clients like me.
I have worked the greater part of my life to get these clients.
Jessie, I'm sorry.
You know what? I really don't think us working together is going to be a long-term thing. I think you should start looking for another job.
So through this course, we have learned that conflict resolution is so important, especially when working with small groups. In this skit, Jessie did a number of things we have learned are not good when referring to a conflict, and Sandy did a number of things that tried to resolve the conflict. It is apparent from this skit that it is hard to settle a conflict if both or all parties do not want to settle the conflict. Sandy wanted to settle the conflict by working on the issues Jessie brought up. Jessie wanted to settle the conflict by eliminating what she thought was the problem. It is obvious that Jessie has a lot of stress on her plate and could potentially be blaming things on Sandy that are not her fault, or making a big deal out of a small problem. It is clear that Jessie lacked in communication skills. She failed to tell Sandy that she started noticing problems. Jessie should be the task leader because she is the boss, but did not exemplify many qualities of a good leader. Our textbook tells us that information is power. Jessie never tried to use her 20 years of experience to help Sandy. Jessie just diminished Sandy and made her feel like she was the reason Jessie's production was not good. Our book describes satisfactory ways to hold meetings. When holding a meeting, one should master time, understand meeting rituals, call group satisfaction meetings, hold group consensus meetings, Monday morning meeting, monthly meetings, and decision-making meetings or planning meetings. Jessie did not attempt any of these types of meetings. Instead, she told Sandy she would have a production meeting and ended up firing Sandy. There are 5 common negotiating styles: avoiding, accommodating, compromising, collaborating, and competing. Sandy could not avoid this problem because she did not know there was a problem. Jessie chose to avoid the problem too much, and it created an even greater problem. Sandy tried to accommodate with Jessie in more ways than not. Sandy offered to get to work later and to label documents how Jessie wanted them labeled. Jessie was not happy with these accommodations, nor did she try to propose any additional ones. Sandy did not really compromise because she surrendered everything to how Jessie wanted it. In terms of conflict resolution, this is usually a good thing, but it was not good enough for Jessie. Jessie could have chosen to collaborate with Sandy when she started noticing problems, but she did not. She waited for the stress and issues to snowball into a huge problem. This situation did not allow much room for competing. Sandy lost, Jessie won, at least in Jessie's eyes, and Jessie is the boss, so unfortunately that's how it goes. The book advises of 3 team managing skills we feel Jessie could benefit from. 1. Avoid extreme conflict resolution states in group. 2. Build group pride on work behavior. 3. Conduct identity renewal meetings. Avoiding extreme conflict resolution means you should try to diversify your groups as much as possible. You should not have a lot of central negatives or a lot of task leaders together. Building group pride could have really helped out Jessie if she would have rewarded Sandy for the under time, and they could have built a friendship. Then maybe the conversation of improvement could have come up earlier on, and Sandy could have had the opportunity to redeem herself. Conduct and identity renewal meetings could have done to praise Sandy for her work. It sounds like Jessie could have used a renewal meeting too. We also learned about 3 relationship managing skills that Jessie could benefit from. 1. Avoid deviant interpersonal group behaviors. 2. Engage in face-saving behavior. 3. Assess individual risk-taking ability. Avoiding deviant interpersonal group behaviors means to simply try to avoid those 12 negative communication behaviors: aggressing, dominating, eggheading, airheading, complaining, self-confessing, help-seeking, recognition-seeking, special interest pleading, playing the clown, and blocking. It is easy to see that Jessie was very aggressive. Engaging in face-saving behavior would be acting in a way that you would be proud to do in front of anyone. I would like to think Jessie would not want to act like that in front of her parents or spouse. Assesses individual risk-taking ability would have been good for Sandy to do early on. Jessie clearly did not want to take any risks. She found one misspelling of a name and fired Sandy because she thought other mistakes could have been made and it make her look bad. Setting the scene. A team was assigned a project on April 2nd and the project needed to be done on April 20th. 1 week has almost passed and the leader, Liz, of the group has failed to get anything accomplished. This is Liz's first time in the leadership role and she does not think she has what it takes to be a good leader. A member of the group, Nancy, has noticed that Liz has been acting different lately. Nancy goes up to Liz and asks if she would like to meet up sometime this weekend and talk about the project and see where they are right now. Liz agrees and the two schedule to meet up for coffee on a Sunday morning. The day has come and Liz is nervous about meeting one of her team members outside of the workplace.
I'm glad we could meet up today.
I bet you're wondering why I have you in here today.
Yeah, this is kind of random, but I figured it had something to do with the project we were assigned.
Well, not really. The project can wait. Today we're going to talk about how you're doing.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I noticed you've been acting just a little bit different lately. The first 2 days you were giving out a lot of commands and at the same time you were taking on all the tasks by yourself. As the days progress, you've become less and less involved. Why is that?
I didn't think it was that noticeable, but I guess the team has caught on. This is my first time being in a leadership role, and I do not think I have what it takes to be a great leader, or what it takes to complete the project.
Well, why do you think that? I mean, you seem very committed to the project at the start. Why the sudden change?
It is because I'm starting to realize no one is listening to me or doing what I ask them to do. Everyone is just doing their own thing, and when they come across a problem, they go to someone else for help. At first it did not bother me, but now I feel like I'm not even needed for this project. I strongly believe the team could get everything done without me even being there.
Well, Liz, if we want to be just a tad bit honest, you didn't really make yourself very approachable at the beginning. You gave off this kind of military general type feel, and no one was really feeling that. Also, during the morning meetings, you never really gave anyone a moment to speak. You just took over the meetings.
Well, I knew my first impression was terrible, but I didn't think it was that terrible.
It's pretty awful.
Well, I'm glad you find that humorous.
Liz, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it like that. It's just the fact that I know how you feel. I have been in a leadership role before, and I can tell you from personal experience that there will be times where you make yourself look bad. But that's a part of being a leader and a team member. You learn from those mistakes. It isn't the end of the world.
Well, even if what you say is true, it still does not fix the fact that the team does not respect me now.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, what is it?
What made you act like that on your first day?
To be honest, I don't have an answer. Maybe it's because I heard about this group before and all the great things you guys have accomplished. I guess I thought I had to show you guys that I was the real deal. But I just messed up pretty bad, didn't I?
In a way, yes, and in a way, no. You found out that approach was not really best suited for you. Even though you had a rough start, it doesn't mean it can't be fixed. There are so many different kinds of styles and roles out there when it comes to groups. You just gotta be yourself and not try to be someone else.
But what if the person I really am does not work? What if I cannot meet all the requirements?
We're a team, Liz. You do not have to try to take on every role for yourself. As a leader, you should be making tough decisions and making sure everything gets done. If you need help with those decisions, then ask your team for help. Just don't rely on them all the time. There will be days where you will have to make the final call.
You're right, Nancy. I should just be myself. This is my first time being a leader. I should not have overthought this. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you helping me out with this problem.
No problem. Also, if you ever come across a conflict you can't handle, just send that person to Mary. She will take care of that conflict for you.
Thanks for the advice.
You're welcome.
Conflict can make or break a group, and depending on who plays that role, the task may never get done. During this skit, we learned that Liz was not being very cooperative and becoming a little controlling at times. Thanks to Nancy, though, the issue at hand was taken care of before the project came to an end. The first thing we need to figure out is what kind of role Liz was playing when she first met her small group. Here are the 3 basic roles I will be talking about. First one is task leader. Next one is social emotional leader. And lastly is tension releaser. Out of all of these, Liz could possibly fall under the task leader role. This role is seen as a very strong role in a group. However, used incorrectly, and the role could possibly hurt the group. Task leaders could be seen as very strong and mature members, but they make themselves feel responsible for any problems that may occur in the group. In this skit, Nancy mentioned how Liz tended to take over the morning meetings and not let her team have a chance to talk. This is common in task leaders, as some can be seen to ignore or avoid comments from other members. In some cases, the task leader may overwhelm themselves, and that is when the social emotional leader may come into play. Nancy can be seen as the social emotional leader or the tension releaser. The reason for this is because both of these roles could be seen as supportive roles in small groups. Another thing to mention is that Nancy was willing to help Liz's personal problem, and in some cases try to use humor to make the environment more at ease for Liz. Liz could possibly be a great task leader. All she needs to do is enhance her skills and figure out when is the proper time to use her skills. The next thing to talk about is what kind of problem-solving group was Liz's team originally in, and what problem-solving group could they possibly go to next. Here are 3 of the problem-solving skills the book has to mention: mature problem-solving group, authoritatively controlled problem-solving group, and uncontrolled problem-solving group. Liz's group was originally in the authoritatively controlled problem-solving group. In this group, the team did not have much involvement and the morale began to dwindle. Why is that though? During this problem-solving group, the task leader tends to do many of the things on their own, limiting the group's involvement. This is why when Liz's group had issues, they tended to avoid her at all costs. But unlike other task leaders, Liz caught on and isolated herself from the group. Her actions could have caused the group to fall into an uncontrolled problem-solving group. This group may have all 5 roles, but usually has constant conflict among one another. Since Nancy has helped Liz with her current problem, we can safely assume that her team could possibly fall into mature problem-solving group. This group has all 5 roles and each member is playing their role correctly. This group has strong communication and quickly and thoughtfully handle any conflict that arises. Since each member is playing their role correctly, there may be little to no conflict. In conclusion, if you are a team member that is having conflict with one another, there are many steps and ways to handle the situation. If you are the problem in the group, what things can you do to better yourself? You could see what role you may play in the group and what actions you can do to better yourself for the team. It is another member of the group. Talk to one of them and find out what is causing the conflict and what can each member do to fix the conflict.